Hey, how's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm coming to you today. It is the 13th, I believe. I don't know. It's Wednesday. Still pulling this reefer load. Got to deliver it in the morning. I'm in North Carolina with it right now. I'm about 67 miles away. The GPS says I have an hour, and this is my truck GPS. That's, if you use Copilot, you can go in and adjust your speed to what your truck's governed at, and it uses that and the road. It's very accurate on time remaining. It says I have an hour and 12 minutes left, and I have 55 minutes remaining on my clock. And there's a truck stop like one exit down from where it's at. I'm about 16, 17 minutes short on time today. It's a real bummer. I've only ran 585 miles today, and I used up, a little over 10 hours there, like 10 hours and 5 minutes. So, not a great average today. It's about 58 and a half, let's just say 58 miles per hour average today. Of course, I ran a rough area, and I do have a very heavy refrigerated load on here right now. I'm at about 78,000 gross. So I started out the day on 70, the Indiana-Ohio line, ran through Dayton, ran US 35, which I despise, ran US 35 down to Charleston, and then, through West Virginia, the North Carolina mountains. That's why I've averaged 58 miles today. I've had some, when you're that heavy and you're running the mountains, most of you guys know that you can't pass anybody, because you're constantly got a hill in front of you got to deal with and get out of everybody's way, and just made for a slow average. But I was thinking to myself, in the title of the video, can your ELD save your soul? Because, I was sitting here thinking about this. I'm like, I'm going to be about 15 minutes short. I'm like, I guarantee if I was on paper log, I'd be cruising down the road to the truck stop right next to my delivery in the morning. You know what I mean? I just log it as in I got there, right at my end of my 11 hours. It wouldn't be a full 15-minute fudge, maybe. I don't know. The only thing that really would, like being on electronic log, the main thing that kept me from going is I've got about a 30 to 40 mile stretch where I've got to cut across I got to cut across to where the place is at. The place is right off the freeway, but not the freeway I'm on. So I have to cut across, a state route for about 30 miles. And I don't know that route. I haven't been across there in a long time, if ever. I've delivered to the place I'm going to right now, but I didn't pick it up at the same place, so I've not done this direct route. But, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, if I was on paper logs, I would definitely just drive it out. Even when I did paper logs, I never really cheated on my whole lot. I mean, there were times when, I did. But for the most part, I just logged it like I drove it, because most loads didn't require me to do things that, I think the most miles I ever ran in a day on paper log was like about 1,000 miles. I drove from Houston to Nashville one time for a birthday party, straight through. So that's about 1,000 miles from Houston to Nashville, I think. But other than that, I think there was maybe one other time I went way over. But, for the most part, I kept it pretty legal. But, I guess technically this ELD is saving me from, fudging a logbook this afternoon. So that's one less lie on my permanent file, you know. So maybe you know, the ELD can save your soul if you look at it that way. But yeah, that's what's going on. I really wish I could have made it there. And really it doesn't matter that much, because even if I parked at the truck stop across the street, I would still have to start my clock in the morning to go across the freeway to where I'm delivering. And then, you know, so basically I got to start my clock about an hour earlier in the morning. And so, you know, I was like, you know what, I'll just shut it down right here. I got a place to stop. There is, between here and that truck stop I'm talking about going to, that's right next to the shipper, there is nothing. No truck stops, no anything. No rest areas. Like say you got about 30 to 40 miles of, you know, a 2-lane state road across there. So this was really the stopping point. You know, I had to stop here and think about it, make a decision. Well, I'd already made the decision before when I stopped earlier. I looked at it and I was like, if it's close, I'm just not going to do it, because, you know, there's no reason to get that violation through on my log and have it, you know, have it all, you know, red marked for 8 days, you know, showing on there. So I said, you know, I want to stop here. I'll start the clock an hour early in the morning. It's really not that big a deal, you know, to not press it, you know, not feel like, you know, I was in a hurry, because you don't know about these little, you know, these little 2-lane roads, these state routes and stuff. I mean, there could be 5 little towns in that 40 miles that slow you down to 30 miles an hour, and then, you know, and then there's nowhere to stop. So then I'm 20 minutes, 30, you know, 20, 25, 30 minutes over on the ELD. So, I think I made the right decision just calling it here, you know, and I'll hang out here, get up an hour early in the morning, run that, you know, run that last hour in. I don't think it's going to affect my day too much, losing that hour. You know, as far as the 70 goes, an hour's an hour. And, you know, I very rarely run near the end of a 14-hour unless it's something out of my control. You know, I like to shut down early. I typically get up, you know, if I have my way about it, I get up at like 2 to 3 in the morning and hit the road. You know, I like it even when I do have the 14-hour day, I'm still done by 5 or 6 in the afternoon. So, not that big a deal. I got to get up probably about 4 in the morning to make this delivery. You know, these reefer loads like to deliver early in the morning, and I'm about, I don't know, I'll probably give myself, you know, a good 2 hours. I'll probably get up, you know, 2 hours before and get the pre-trip done and get on the road. Way I give myself a little window. But yeah, think about that, guys. You know, think about all the little fudging we used to do when we were on paper logs, and you know, a little here, a little there. You know, talking to somebody about it the other day. I said, you know, I used to kill 700-mile days in a company truck when I was on paper logs, and you know, now I'm actually running, you know, faster than what that governed truck ran. Not by much. I mean, just, you know, 2 or 3 mile an hour faster in this truck than I used to run. But I usually keep this truck around 65, 66, you know. But I said, yeah, in a 63, 64 mile an hour truck, I used to get 700-mile days in. And now, you know, I mean, I run hard, you know, for 11 hours, and I'm at like 660, 670, something like that. So, yeah, apparently I was a little bit more efficient on paper logs. We'll call it efficient. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about today, guys, with the paper logs and everything. So, yeah, it just makes me think back. I'm like, man, maybe I should get a truck and just rebuild it. You know, get one of these you know, exempt, whatever ELD exempt trucks. You know, give it like a 97, 98 model truck, something like that. I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal. I don't think an extra 20 or 30 miles a day would be worth the dealing with the older truck. There may be other reasons to deal with the older truck with you know, not having the emissions and all on it, but other than that, I don't see much of an advantage on doing it that way. I guess technically I'm better off with the ELD as far as my soul goes. Alright guys, I'm going to get off here. Appreciate everybody watching and sharing and liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. Take care of each other out there, guys. Later.